Today's episode of the Nateland podcast is brought to you by HelloFresh and Indeed. Hello, folks, and hey, Bear. As always, I'm here with Dusty Slay.
All right.
I'm Brian Bates. Aaron. Oh, wait.
Sorry. I'm as big as Aaron, so I can fill up his space.
I didn't even notice.
Not the head, though.
I don't have the head. No.
Stephen Bargatze sitting there.
All right.
Nate's dad.
AKA Nate's dad.
That's right.
Where's Nate?
I'm not supposed to say. They told me so many things I can't say.
Nate's
Nathan's in New York.
Yeah,
I
guess you have a lot of secrets.
Yeah. What was he on? Was he on? I don't even know. Good Morning America.
He was on this morning on the Today Show. We're recording
Today
this on
Show.
Monday.
See, I get them mixed up. I recorded the wrong one, so I got in bunch of trouble. I recorded the Good Morning America.
Oh, well.
And I waited. I never saw him. So
I think he's on Seth Meyers tomorrow night.
Did you text him? You never showed up?
Yeah.
What happened? Did you get
it's real funny. He was on a radio show here in Nashville, and I was listening to it in the early morning one, and he didn't show up. And I called in.
Oh, yeah.
And they ended up putting me on it because he never did show up. He
didn't show up.
He overslept.
Oh, okay.
And so they thought it was great, just more fun me. I was going to go wait till I get over to him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know exactly where he's at.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's fun.
And he just overslept?
That's not the story he told.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to get him in trouble. He said he was out running. He was sleeping. And
I feel like oversleeping is better than I'm out running.
That's worse.
Yeah, you're like, sorry, I missed the interview. I was exercising.
I was wide awake. I just chose to forget about it.
Oversleeping, that's a mistake.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Running, that's a choice.
Yeah.
Running away from your responsibilities.
That's right.
Well, it's going to be the Nate Less podcast pretty soon. He's missed 3 straight weeks, but he's back next week.
All right. About time.
The grand return.
Grand return. I'll go ahead and tell you next week's topic will be Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And so if you got either questions about the show or after you watch it, you got questions, email us at nateland@natebargatze.com and we'll read some next week and learn about Nate's crazy week on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Great. I had some stories just that we did Radio City Hall. The Saturday
Radio City
before.
Music Hall, yeah.
Music Hall, 3 sold out shows. And I knew something was up because some people from Saturday Night Live are here. And I think they came, I'm not 100% positive on this, but I think they came 2 nights in 2 different shows. And I
You thought they were there to see you.
I was hoping they were there. No. I was going to tell them about you guys, but it was just something that we thought, well, I wonder, that's kind of strange that why would they come? You just wouldn't think that they did. But also, Seinfeld was supposed to come and Jimmy Fallon, and that didn't happen.
Right.
And
that's how it always goes. They're always like, oh, the Seinfeld's coming. That's what they tell me every show I do.
Every show.
And then he never comes. He never comes.
But they did come. And did y'all get a tour of Saturday Night Live?
Y'all's a pretty big word. Laura and them and all them did. Laura,
did you oversleep or were you out running?
They specifically requested you not come.
I was running. That happened the day after, and I'll be honest with you. I don't know if y'all know, but Nathan works a lot, and I had worked 3 weekends in a row, and I have doctors to see.
Uh-huh.
So instead of staying and going to see Jimmy Fallon, I went and saw my doctor the next day. So I said, I got to fly home. So me and Kel didn't.
That sounds like a huge mistake.
It was. We probably should have stayed there and did that. But we actually did stay in Keep Harper so that Laura could go and have some fun.
Nice.
And then we left early the next morning to get home for me to. And I've taken 3 weeks off. But that turned out not to be a good idea either.
You might need that mic a little closer. I don't know. I just having a little trouble hearing you, but
get up in there.
Well, take the headphones off. I bet you can hear me a lot better.
Yeah, we don't even need these, do we? So
and you can adjust that right up in there too if you need whatever you need to do. Yeah,
you let me know, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just hanging. You know what I mean? I'm just hanging.
You're the professionals.
Yeah.
Aaron is. He's been talking about this trip to Brazil for 2 years.
He has been. I actually am shocked that he actually went because for a long time he kept doing that ad read and saying, I need to brush up on my Spanish because I'm going to Brazil.
For Babbel,
and I really didn't believe that he was going.
Yeah.
I don't think
Portuguese,
of Aaron as
Portuguese, I believe.
okay. I don't think of Aaron as a liar.
Yeah.
But
We were starting to question it.
yeah.
It could be a bit, as far
Yeah.
as you know.
Well, he went.
Is it Portuguese?
I thought Brazil was Portuguese.
Makes sense to me.
I think he's in Chile right now.
They are in Chile.
So he's down there living it up. And then Dusty doesn't eat pork. And
That's
I
true.
generally thought God doesn't care. But then something happened to you that makes me kind of question what I think Dusty might be onto something. So
he could be.
There's
not me.
There's the picture.
God is onto it, but
what happened here?
I was eating pork, and
that's what
and
happened.
something came down.
That's what happened. The parasites caught on fire.
Yeah. If you're listening at home, there's a burnout kitchen at the Bargatze house,
and it completely smoked the house. It was a grease fire because I'm originally was born in Louisville, Kentucky, and we know how to cook bratwurst.
Right.
And you can't even buy the bratwurst that I grew up on. Are very hard to find here. But the Publix that we shop at with Dusty, they do sell it. They sell them.
Yeah, but that's a good Publix.
But they don't sell it with the other bratwurst. You have to know where to find it. It's a little secret place. But it's an all-white bratwurst. And what you do, you have to deep fry it, and then it splits open. And then it's delicious.
Oh, then the oil gets down in there.
Oh,
I like it. If they would make, they make chicken and beef bratwurst, but they still use a pork casing. So it's tough to really find.
I don't even know what the bratwurst, I don't know what animal comes out of the one I eat, but it's just called brat.
But what happened to cause the fire?
Well, I like to blame a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But I had come home. And
You're out running.
I was running.
Yeah.
I actually was at the Y doing my water aerobics. Came home. I had a golf game at 1:30. So I came home and I was just going to cook me a bratwurst for lunch. Just one.
I've always said golf ruins lives.
Golf ruins the worst thing of it all is I wasn't even supposed to be home. I was supposed to be in Seattle with Nathan. But like I said, I had 3 weeks in a row. I had enough I love Nathan, but I just want to go home and see doctors and just get off that bus for a while. I just needed a break. So I said, I'm not going. I already had my plane ticket and everything, but Nathan was kind enough to say, okay, you can go. I had to pay him for the ticket. But other than that, I was allowed to stay home and I cooked this brat in celebration. But I got a phone call about being on a podcast. I won't say nothing else, but that most people call me, they want me on a podcast. They don't want me. They want me to bring Nate.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to be really nice and go, yeah, I would love to do this and stuff. Yeah, but I don't, I have to kind of say no in a nice way or figure it out how we're going to do this. So this is what the phone call, it just threw me off. So I was trying to go, we would love to do it and stuff. But, they was even wanting us to come there and all this stuff. It's like, I don't think they really understand his life. And I could do it, but I was just trying to explain in a nice way. Got my mind, because I'm old. And I just ate the bratwurst and left. And I left the stove on full blast with about 5 inches of oil on it. And it melted my microwave completely and it had the whole house, the entire house was solid black smoke. Carol was home, can't smell because she lost her smell and taste in COVID in 20. So
really?
So she still can't smell or taste.
Okay.
Not as funny as you would think.
This is hilarious to me. Sorry.
The cool part is now when we go out to eat, we don't go out for flavor, we go out for texture.
Okay.
What do you want? Crunchy tonight or you want soft and stuff? Because she can't taste anything.
Wow.
And she's lost it 2020, and she still mentions it every meal.
Wow.
There's not a single meal that she doesn't go, I can't take this.
What about hot peppers? She try to get into that?
She knows spices.
Okay.
She knows if something has heat.
Yeah.
Like that. She can taste that and stuff. But she has,
wow.
That bratwurst would have been wasted on her anyway. So I didn't cook her one. I just made me one.
So she also lost sight of black smoke?
Well, no. I was gone about 20 minutes.
Okay.
I say 30, but she's going to say 20. And and she did not smell the smoke because and 20, so in all, it was on at least 30, 40 minutes, full blast, the oil was. And I left, she left. She did not smell it. And she stayed gone 2.5, 3 hours.
Oh, she was gone.
So she took Sky.
Okay.
And he took her to a park, came home, and she calls my daughter first.
She's like, I don't know what it was. I couldn't breathe in there, but I couldn't smell anything.
She says, our house might be on fire, though. Smoke alarm's going off. And then she opened the door, and it it literally just burned her throat, burned everything up. It was solid black, so she did call the fire department. They were awesome. They were there within 4 minutes. But there's a lot more to this story I'm not going to tell because I know Nathan will.
What hole were you on?
I was on hole number 2. I fired 5 holes in a row.
After you found out your house was on fire?
Yes, because it's not my fault. Abigail said the house might be on fire.
Oh, so you kept on playing.
She said, I'll call you back. And it took her 5 holes. And when she didn't call back, she texted me saying, why aren't you here? There's 3 fire trucks here.
I love how relaxed you are, though. They're like, the house might be on fire. You're like, all right, well, I'll keep
might is
golfing.
A big word.
Yeah, I'll keep golfing.
It could have been a towel. How do I know?
Yeah.
But then what happened?
Just on hole 2 here.
Yeah, on hole 5, I remembered that I left the grease were on.
Oh, man.
So I go, I think I better go home.
Wow.
And I was about an hour. I was in Greenbrier. I was about an hour away, so it wasn't easy. When I got there, everybody was gone. But I want to tell you, my wife has been
alive,
so
but
nice.
gone.
She's my friend goes, you should hurry up home. I go, why should I hurry? Because I'm going to be yelled at for the next 3 hours.
3 weeks?
It was for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Now, she brings it up a lot, but she has not really yelled at me.
Okay, good.
But anywhere we go, I said, where do you want to go out and eat? She goes, that's because you burned our house down, and let's go here. And I have no choice.
Be tough to sell her on bratwurst again.
No, that's going to be. I think we're going to give up pork for a little while.
Yeah,
I wouldn't break up that lack of taste and smell to her.
Yeah,
after that.
Yeah, give up pork and microwaves.
Yeah.
This is a sign.
Well,
but we have great insurance. State Farm, Vernon Wells came in and he said that they're taking care of everything. We just can't.
Vernon Wells.
We just can't live there for about 3 months.
3 months?
Yes.
Where are you living?
Well, that's going to be a big surprise. And I don't know if Nathan's going to hear this before he's done, but we're living with Nate now. He doesn't even know it. So it's going to be a big surprise on Nate when he comes home to realize that you think the bus was crowded. Now I'm living in your house.
He hosts SNL and back living with his parents.
That's right. That's going to be good.
He's going to come home to charge his phone and the CPAP's going to be plugged in.
It's going to love it. It's going to be a great surprise, but we haven't even told him yet.
Wow. Well, surprise, Nate. That's awesome. Where were you? You burn a house down?
No, I did not. I went to Des Moines, Iowa to the
birthplace of magic.
Is it?
That's right.
Oh, okay. Is it?
Nate used to have a joke saying that.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a great place. That's where Nathan got in that box. It's the surprise.
Oh, okay.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
Those that knows that joke knows.
Yeah.
But it's a great place.
I like it a lot. I had 3 shows. 2 were sold out. The 3rd was very close, and it was great. It's a hot weekend. I had my friend Alec Parent with me.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a theater?
Comedy club, the Des Moines Funny Bone.
Oh, okay. That's a good place.
It was great, yeah.
Yeah.
Weather
Selling
was
out
great.
is good.
Yeah, it was great. I had a great time. I went there for the first time in 2015. I featured for the comic Dominique. We were doing two-person show, and I pretty much bombed every one. So it's nice to. I've been back since then. I've been back since then, but it's nice to now sell it out and have great shows. It feels good.
Did you ask everybody remembered you the time I bombed?
Any Dominique fans here?
No, I don't think there's a ton of crossover between me and Dominique's fans. But I liked Dominique. I thought she was very funny, but I struggled on those shows.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was in Hoover, Alabama at Stardome opening for Anjelah Johnson. And she sold out every show and just had a great time.
What's her fan base?
I mean, majority women. And,
like Leanne Morgan. So you're becoming a majority women.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's my go-to open for women, much more successful than I am. And they're fans. But I do well with those shows.
Oh, I know you. I know you're material enough to know it would go well.
Yeah.
It would do great.
So it was a lot of fun. I hadn't been there in a while. A lot of people asked when you were coming, Dusty. We had a great time. I thought that, the Tennessee-Alabama game was down there 50 minutes away. And I thought, who's going to come to it? But Angelah's fans.
Yeah, probably not a lot of
Yeah, their husbands.
I hate to
that
use
they
the word
game.
crossover so much now, but
Yeah,
probably not a lot of
that's two.
crossover fans.
Yeah, well, apparently not because
Yeah.
she packed it out. So
Nathan has a great, his Anjelah Johnson story?
I don't know.
They were in Montreal,
Hmm.
and Anjelah hadn't been in comedy a month.
Yeah.
But she was killing it with the fingernail things
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so Anjelah came up to him and said, you are the nicest guy here. You're the only guy here that hadn't hit on me. And she said, when I go, I want you to come warm up for me. And Nathan kind to himself kind of went, look, darling, you've been in this a month.
Yeah.
I've been, I got 7-8 years into this stuff. And he didn't say it. He goes, maybe, but within a month, he was warming up for her.
Wow.
So it came out
I
exactly
thought you
the
were going
way.
to say, he said, well, you want to go have a drink and talk about it?
No, but so he ended up working. She came over our house several times. Nicest person in the world. We love her.
Yeah, I was at your house with her when
Yeah.
Nate got the announcement about his Comedy Central half
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
And you did some magic tricks for
For
her and
her.
her friends.
Still have that picture on my refrigerator with her. And
Yeah.
stuff. We're trying to be, because she's living here now with her we're trying to be her grandparents, because all of her family and his family are not from here.
Mhm.
You got to have some grandparents, somebody in there to take care of your kids. So we have volunteered. Anjelah
Yeah, I
would
mean, our
still do
kids
that.
could need some grandparents too. If
You don't
just-
have
if you look
family?
at, well, I do, but they're all in Alabama.
Oh, well, then we put us down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're baby. We'll drop them off,
Yeah.
keep them in. Just I won't cook, and we'll keep them.
Yeah. Perfect.
We would love that.
Well, her baby and your baby are, I think, born the same week.
yeah. My newest, my son, Sam.
Yep.
About the same age.
And
Wow.
you and her are the same age.
Are we?
I think y'all are born the same week.
Wow.
So
No way. How do you
okay.
know this stuff?
I just know a lot of stuff. And she was supposed to be on today, but then she bailed. So we had to settle for
Oh
you.
man, thank you, Anjelah.
Well, you weren't our second choice, but you were 10th or 11th
Fourth,
choice.
yeah.
Actually, you know what?
a
I
lot
knew-
of cancellations.
We asked the crew to be on, but
I'm a big fan of from Texas, the Big Red soda drink,
Yeah.
and they're very hard to find in Tennessee, and especially in the glass bottles.
mhm.
Luckily for me, Bucky sells it, and the fountain, which I love, but the glass. So I had bought one because I was supposed to do this podcast in December, and I bought one. It's been just for that podcast,
Mhm.
but we lost it in the fire. So I'm
That took
having
a
to do.
turn.
I have to drink. So
Well, last year this is our Halloween episode. Last year I went as Dusty for Halloween, if you remember.
I do remember. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember.
I was
I
gonna
remember
go.
that. Yeah.
I was gonna go as you this
I
year.
thought we had already did a
Yeah.
Halloween episode, but I guess Halloween comes around every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, dang, here we go again.
Yeah.
Well, last year it was horror movies and scary stories.
Okay.
Now, 2 years ago we did a straight up Halloween episode with Nate, Aaron, and Mike Vecchio. But I'm like, hey, we got different people, different. So
Different perspective.
yeah, people are going to hear some stuff they've already heard, but whatever. Should we get in these comments?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Comments. Comments come from Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcast reviews, and Nateland at natebargatze.com. This is from John Lahr. Oh gosh. All right, here we go. Let's get it. I gotta move slow here. As a major fan of the podcast and Utahan, I waited with bated breath for the Utah episode. I was kind of nervous knowing much of the state's history and waiting to see if y'all would botch it. I am relieved y'all recovered. I don't know why I can't read today, but
Should I do it?
no, I'll be fine.
All right.
I am relieved y'all covered it in such a manner. I am grateful for the fun facts, the jokes, the stories, and this week's episode.
Well, you botched up the reading of it, so they ought to be happy for
Yeah.
that.
It helped.
You did well on the
Yeah.
podcast, but
Yeah.
you botched the reading.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, exactly.
That's right.
It helped
Yeah.
that we had Alex on, who was a native Utah and could answer a lot of the stuff that. we
Well, I
didn't
know nothing about Utah. It was I've been to Salt Lake City a couple of times, but I don't know anything about it.
Right.
We talked. One thing we didn't talk about. We talked about Mormons a lot, and they don't drink coffee, and we didn't get
Okay.
into that. And again, just like with the pork, I didn't really think there's anything to it until you went to Salt Lake City and tried to go buy coffee, and God struck you down.
That's true. I got vertigo out there.
Wow.
You know what? And I've been struggling on and off again with coffee. I felt like coffee was not doing me right. So I would quit it for a while, and then I would start to feel good, and I would go, you know what? I'm going to drink coffee. And then I would drink it for 2 or 3 days, and then seem like something else would happen to me. So I don't think I'm supposed to be drinking coffee.
No.
I'm off it again now. I love coffee, but it is really addictive. I mean, I'll have 1 cup one day and I'll be like, all right, that's good. I had a good cup of coffee. I feel good. The next day I'm like 1.5 cups, and then I'm 2 cups. And then before you know it, I'm 3 cups driving down the road looking for another cup of coffee.
What makes a good cup of coffee? I hate coffee.
I like black coffee.
Just
and
black,
I just think
but does it matter who makes it?
It does matter. I don't have a particular brand that I like, but you go to a better coffee shop like Folgers, stuff like that. That's no good. That's
the kind they give you in the hotel.
Yeah, it's like gut rot coffee. Yeah, it's just like it does matter. I don't want something so highly caffeinated, but a good coffee, it's got almost a little bitterness to it. I love it.
Well, one thing about the Mormons that I found, we were in Salt Lake 2 weeks ago, and we got to visit the Capitol, and in the governor's office. Maybe you don't want me to tell you this, but they had a little back room, and you go back there, there was a whole thing of Cokes, like a fountain.
Oh, okay.
So they had
like, wow, they're really partying at the governor's house.
They didn't have
line of Coke.
No, but it was like they didn't have coffee.
Yeah,
right. Who needs it? Well, that Coke.
But they did. I shouldn't have said Coke. They had Pepsi. But they can drink soda now.
Yeah.
So and that's got caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not caffeine because they've explained to me before.
Oh, I thought it was only
people
caffeine.
think that, but it's something about the Book of Mormon talks about hot drinks and things like
they
that.
can't have hot drinks?
See, I shouldn't even.
I ordered a tea there hot.
Now John's jumping in. He's like, now you're
so
botching
mad.
it.
Sorry, John.
It's not caffeine, guys. It's the hot drinks.
We blew it.
Don't even drink. If you're gonna have soup, you can't drink it. You got to eat it with a spoon.
Oh man,
you're not allowed to drink your soup.
When I was there, my first meal was hot tea and hot soup. So I was.
Hot tea, I love. I'm a big hot tea fan.
I'm a hot tea major fan.
Well, sorry, John, we blew it there on the comments.
Well,
anyway.
He wanted us to botch it, though. Deep down, he wanted us to botch it.
Yeah.
All right, Chad Kirk. Breakfast. I love the shingles joke. Bring it back and add Dusty's and Aaron's additions. That made me laugh so hard.
I don't know what Aaron brought.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I actually tried it out this weekend at Stardome, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Well,
it was fun in the moment.
It was fun in the moment.
Probably not a funny stand-up joke.
The way I tried it is I did a separate joke about how everybody wanting my baby to get sick with chicken pox. They're obsessed with her getting chicken pox. And then later in the set, was there any single ladies? Shingle ladies. My daughter get chicken pox. And that's the way I did it.
How did that go?
About like what you just did.
Did you bring it? Did you do if you liked it, then you should have put some cream on it? Oh, well, that's where you went wrong.
Well,
you still doing your old joke.
You gotta buy it. You
just did your old joke. You didn't add the tags we made.
Well, I have a reason now why I want a woman to be shingle. That's the line you gave me was give a reason. Hey, I'm married. I'm looking for woman shingles because my daughter needs
all
chicken
my
pox.
shingle ladies. If you liked it, then you should have put some cream on it.
Well, I think I would have been escorted off stage.
I don't think so.
In that moment.
I think you would be surprised. You are in Birmingham.
It's funny in the moment, but I don't want to put cream on it because I want them to keep their shingles. Give to my baby.
It doesn't matter. Don't get too into the details,
Well, yeah.
It's got to take a chance.
Yeah, have some fun.
Yeah.
Loosen up a little bit,
Well, you can have that joke going forward since you wrote it.
Well, I don't want to take your first joke. Johnny Linsenmeyer. He's got to spell that a lot, you bet.
Yeah.
Over the phone.
He has to divide that up.
Linsenmeyer.
Lindsay and then Meyer.
Yeah.
But they go together.
It's Linsen and then Meyer, like the grocery store. I was blown away by Bates thinking he could blend in as a professional soccer player. Soccer requires tremendous amounts of skill and cardiovascular endurance. No offense, but I don't think Bates has either. Wow. If he could blend in with any sport as a professional, my suggestion would be one of the middle guys on the bobsled. The push-off and jumping in the sled may be tricky, but he could do it.
Well, that's a pretty good suggestion. A lot of people still made the same mistake Dusty made by listing whatever they're best at in sports. And I think you would just get called out real quick. A lot of people really are upset about me saying soccer because they're passionate soccer fans. And
the soccer fans are the worst.
And
I mean,
I'm sure they're right.
They're so intense.
Oh, they are.
They're so intense.
I'm sure they're right. I'm just saying I feel like I could hide out there for a little while. And look, all right, you're right. I'd get exposed and the game would end 1-0 instead of 0-0.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. How big of a deal we're going to be here?
Well, I mean, I felt the same way. I was so offended by you guys not thinking that I would be blend in as a professional swimmer. I mean, I'm a very good swimmer.
Hair.
Yeah.
What's the hair and also and the...
I think that stuff's kind of overrated. I mean, if we're really trying, I mean, I could cut it. You know what I mean?
Somebody said bowling.
Hey, I would say bowling for
I'm terrible at bowling, though.
I know, but either one of you do that. Oh, axe throwing. You look like you'd be really good.
Maybe, but I'm at least a good swimmer. It would be like, wow, that guy really got beat bad.
But you're not allowed to wear the fins.
Yeah, but well, I never wear the. I'm a great swimmer, but I'm a terrible bowler. I'm probably not great at throwing an axe. I look like it, but the moment I threw it, you would go, "Well, this guy's not professional."
Never thrown an axe.
I just think it needs to be a team sport where they could carry it for you, and you don't even have to touch the ball, maybe. Or,
bocce ball. What's the ice one?
Curling, maybe. Bowling is the one sport where if you get lucky, you can do the best that's possibly can do on a few rolls. I can't even think of the word, but I mean, you can roll a strike very first time playing.
You know what? I worked for the Athletic Association here in Tennessee and did school shows and stuff, but I had to work several sports. And while I was there, we picked bowling up as a sanctioned sport, and we started doing it. And I kind of thought, I don't know. But you talk about crazy fans. They're the craziest.
Oh, really?
And it's one of the greatest sports ever because you have 5 guys. And everybody's going against the one guy. The one is football, 1-2. So the worst guy on the team, he just has to beat their worst guy. There's sometimes where he just gets a spare and it wins that whole game for them. So sometimes his game's more important than the 2 guys that are bowling 200.
That's interesting.
And it was
maybe I don't understand team bowling.
Yeah, team bowling was
my
just
mom
such
used to
a
do a
different
lot
thing.
Of team bowling when I was a kid. I would hang. I was a bowling alley kid. I used to hang out there a lot of cigarette smoking there.
Yeah, because they go by the total of their points.
Yeah.
So that guy who's not that good can just, can bowl a 79, but that could beat the other guy's 76 and be enough for them to win. And I cried every year watching it because it'd be somebody that would do good. And it's one that physically handicapped kids can play. The physically challenged kids, they can bowl. They're allowed to put that little ramp thing and push it off, and they can get points for their team.
But what if you just had 5 good players?
Then you're going to win.
I mean, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing, and they didn't do it. Betts.
Mookie Betts.
I was there the year that his team, they went to the state championship, and it was everybody. And of course, you just knew he was a good football player, and we just thought it was amazing that this guy plays football and stuff, but he was an awesome bowler.
And not a bad baseball player.
Yeah, he does pretty well at that, too.
Yeah, I think I've heard that he'd rolled a 300 game one time.
Yeah, I don't think he did it in the state, but I mean he was great.
And your mom's a Kentucky Hall of Fame bowler,
and her dad, both of them.
Wow.
Were. Yeah.
And how good a bowler are you?
Terrible. My mom didn't like me. I told you. I was the only one she never took bowling, and but my sister has bowled a 300, and so everybody else. But I never really got into it, but I liked the bow.
It got sadder as it went.
They got what?
That got sadder as it went along.
Well, it's kind of like I figured that's the way it should be first, because Brian picked these out. Why would you even pick this one out to read? And if I was going to read this one, I would start right there where it says, well, if he could play sports. I like that suggestion that you be the middle guy in the bobsled. Very funny. Very good. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't have read that top part.
Well, I just
the part that makes fun of me.
Yeah,
I just read what he puts in here.
I know. I'm not not blaming you.
I'm just
blaming
a teleprompter guy.
If he's the guy that's picking these out, I would have done some editing.
Well,
You're saying, to just make myself look good.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Well, a couple weeks ago, I was blamed for only picking ones that did make me look good.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you can't win. Yeah.
Win around
You
here.
can't win. All right, Pilot Bill. Love the podcast and all the Southwest Airlines comments, critiques. I'm a pilot with them, and I have seen most of the situations you talk about on the podcast. Dusty is spot on calling out people who get in a wheelchair to pre-board. It is not uncommon to have less people using wheelchairs at the destination than use them to board at the departure city. We call these miracle flights, where the passengers are miraculously healed by the magic of air travel. Wow. I mean, all of the comments I got of being an ableist and being a jerk, I'm vindicated again. I mean, I'm just a nice guy, and I'm trying to call out the people faking in wheelchairs, and people act like I'm the bad guy. Come on,
now,
guys.
I can think of...
Thank you, Pilot Bill.
Yeah, he's right. I can think of... The only situation I could think of where that could make sense is if the airport you depart from, say it's Atlanta, some huge airport, and you're flying to Appleton, Wisconsin, where you just basically walk out, get in your car. If the airports are greatly different, then maybe I could see that.
Well, if it's not Southwest Airlines, I think what you're saying is fine. But if it's Southwest, the wheelchair gets you to board before everybody else, regardless of how much they paid for a ticket. So when I pay a lot for my ticket so that I can get a good boarding spot, and then there's a lot of wheelchairs in there, I'm like, come on, guys.
I got a guy who uses a cane in his act. He juggles a cane.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with him. But he gets, every time he flies, he walks with his cane so he can get on.
Wow.
And I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's 1,000. The thing that happens to me, and you didn't mention it, I've had it happen 2 times where somebody comes in, they want to sit together, and I paid extra to get in first.
Yeah.
So I'm at the window, and they go, would you switch with this lady? And you sit in the middle. Even though I paid the $50 more to get where I want. And one time I said, if she gives me the $50, I'll sit in the middle. And you'd have thought, I mean, the whole plane hated me. Something like she said, this guy wants her to pay. Well, and so I was very angry when I sat in that middle.
I sit on planes all the time thinking sometimes I'll just take my backpack in and I won't check a bag, but then the area under the seat will be real small, so I'll put the backpack in the overhead.
Yeah.
And then as people it starts to fill up and I see people looking for space, I'm always thinking somebody is going to try to ask me to move my backpack. And I'm so ready to defend myself that I'm like, I paid the money. That's my space. I'm not putting 2 bags up there. That's my space. I shouldn't have to be cramped because you can't check a bag. Right. You know what I mean? I get fired up about an airport.
Where I was coming home. I have it is a backpack, but it's like it's the only bag I have up there. Some guy comes in late and he proceeds to just smash my, just jam his in there so much. And I have my iPad in there and everything. And I turned around, it was Henry Cho.
Oh,
wow. And I went, oh my gosh. I let him have it when the plane was over. I caught up with him and he just laughed. Sorry, dude.
Wow.
Now the whole world knows. I feel he's like the one to do it.
I feel like I could see Henry being like, who put this backpack in the overhead?
He's the guy.
It works both ways, right? Because as mad as I get thinking that somebody's going to smash my backpack, if I had a bag and there's a backpack up there, I'm like, what's this backpack doing up here? That doesn't go in the overhead. That goes under the seat. It's true. It all goes both ways.
It does. A couple weeks ago, I suggest on here, non-Southwest Airlines board window seats first, then middle seats, then aisle seats. Like 2 days later, United Airlines announced.
I know, I saw that.
We're doing it.
That's awesome.
So we're getting things done around here.
We're making it happen.
Yeah.
All right,
Lee. Wow, that's
very common name.
That's lucky to get that username. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lee, Dusty has come up with a great idea. We need stand-up comedy at the TSA checkpoint at the airport. It would make the time at the checkpoint more enjoyable. I don't know that I came up with that, but I would never want that gig.
No.
I don't even know that I would like it at the airport. Yeah. If I'm, while I'm getting yelled at by the TSA, some guy's up there going, hey, airport baggage, huh?
Magic, maybe.
It would be like Nathan's joke. If you don't know the guy's a comedian, it's just a mean speech.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you would just be some mean person. This guy's making fun of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember you suggesting that, to be honest. But.
Well, Lee, I appreciate you saying that I came up with a great idea, but I feel like even if I did come up with that, I feel like it's not as good.
But you do up close magic, so while they're waiting, you could just do a little trick for them.
When I did the Armed Forces Entertainment, that became very, very important. There was many times, especially going into Iraq and going to some places, they want to look at your bags really close, and they want to look at like a pack of cards. They literally want to look at every card,
and then you just make them disappear.
Yeah, so I just say I do magic, and you ended up entertaining about 5 or 6 of them in your stuff. And this is a true story. I got a gun in the O'Hara. I have a gun. It looks like a gun, but it's a starter pistol, but it looks like a gun. I took the end out. It looked just like a gun. Fires a blank. But I used it for a trick. This was in the 70s. But even in the
so far I'm taking the airlines side on this one.
In the 70s,
80s, no, maybe 80s.
Okay, 80s.
But anyway, you're still not allowed to have guns, but you could use it in a magic show for a trick. And I was about to miss my plane, and this guy goes, "Well, we'll make it. We'll guarantee it." It was a private gig, so they drive me right up to there and get me in, and they just throw all my stuff. And the plane said that they would put it underneath. But I realized I got a gun in there. And I told them, and I said, I guess I'm going to jail. And the first little bag went through, and the guy goes, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a magician. Let me show you this." And they all came over. My other bag with the gun went through. I was doing magic, and they go, "Thank you very much." I got on the plane. And came home. So that's the only time.
That's the way to go.
Quit carrying the gun.
One time I was late for my flight, so I couldn't check my bag, and I had a bunch of stuff in there that you can't really fly with on the plane, but you can check. And the guys running the TSA checkpoint were like, they go, "Hey, you look like Forrest Gump." And then I say, "Yeah, a lot of people say I look like Forrest Gump after he ran for a long time, because I have that joke already." They both laughed. They were like, "Get out of here, man." And then I got all the stuff in.
See, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
But a lot of the TSA has no sense of humor.
No.
They're not.
No.
They're not having a good time.
No.
All right, Luke Reed. The actor Josh Lucas does the narration for the Home Depot commercials, and the more Alex talked, the more I heard the similarity.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe you guys didn't get what I was going at, but I just thought people knew the Home Depot commercials and that voice, and I thought it sounded like Alex.
See, I felt like it was more of a deep voice guy that did the Home Depot commercials.
Well, that's Josh
more
Lucas.
Saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
I fast forward commercials, so I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Well,
all I know is that I spent a lot of time in Lowe's and Home Depot selling pesticides, and they always make the commercials seem like the employees in there are like just so friendly and just ready to help you, and they're just smiling and they'll load everything in your car. The truth is they're like understaffed and overworked, and they hate being there.
Wow.
And there are some nice people in there. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they're overworked. The Home Depot makes it seem like the commercials make it just seem like there's a plethora of employees. Yeah. They can't wait to, they're like, "Oh, thanks for coming in. I can't wait to talk paint with you." And it's not like that. Yeah. All right. Mark Zimmerman. I am surprised someone of Bandicoot's age doesn't know about the website RunPee. I don't know about that either. It tells you when the best time to go to the bathroom is during movies. Oh, I get that maybe Aaron has built up a tolerance by holding it in on flights, but this website has saved me from missing crucial movie parts.
Well, there it is right there.
I got to download that app. That's the greatest thing I've heard in weeks.
We need it for this podcast. I'll be checking it out. This new, the new movie that just came out with Robert De Niro and Leonardo is like over 3 hours, I think, or right at 3 hours, and so I may have to RunPee a couple of times.
I don't know that I'll ever watch that.
I made
3 hours. I'm like, come on, wrap it up.
I made $30, which
15.
was a lot of money on watching Titanic with my manager and stuff. So we both had to get a large Coke, and the first one that pee had to pay the other one $30.
Wow.
And that's hard in Titanic. when it starts to go under and you're sitting there, woo,
a lot of water.
I won $30.
I've never seen that either. Courtney. If they're too long now, I don't have the time now because I'm like, it's just it's like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they don't tell stories well anymore. So when you just drag it out, I feel like you just drag it. It's like Lord of the Rings, right? All three of those movies I loved. They're great. But then because they're all based off a book.
That's right.
But then they took The Hobbit, which was one small book, and made 3 movies out of it. And I'm like, you're just dragging it out now.
Right.
I don't need to see the hobbits singing a song in the house. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, we could do it in one movie.
Yeah.
They're just milking us.
Right.
I saw The Lord of the Rings. I didn't see any of the ones after that.
They're all great.
I like the Hobbits, but I'm like, you drug it out too much. Let's do it in one movie.
Right.
That's my thoughts.
I'd agree.
Dave Owings.
Dan.
Yeah.
All right.
I was focusing on the Owings.
Yeah.
It's like Owens, but with a G. Owings. Dan Owings. I'm a pastor, and Stephen's story about the lady who colored her hair at the church had me rolling. I'm definitely finding a way to work it into my sermon.
Well, when did this story come out?
I think 3 years ago when you were on our podcast last.
Oh, okay.
But,
wow. So you can go back that far in comments?
Well, they're always on YouTube, yeah.
The comments?
For every episode, yeah, that's still on there.
Everything on the internet lasts forever.
But I don't remember the lady who colored her hair at the church. So what is that?
I did a class to teach children pastors and pastors on little magic tricks they can do for to give the message.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what you call them. Some kind of you do a little trick and you teach an object. It's object lessons. And and this pastor, a Tennessee church, but he did it, and apparently they must have not liked him anyway. But they used that he did magic in the pulpit as a way to fire him. So they said, "You're gone. We don't have that witchcraft stuff in here in this church. So you got 1 month." And so what he did is he hired me. On his way out, he hired me to come and speak to the whole church. He doesn't tell me this is going on. And so I come there and I'm going to do my whole show. And he wants me to do the gospel and everything. And I don't, to be honest, I'm not, this will sound weird. I don't like to give the gospel to church as an entertainer, because people will come to you and they're not really receiving the message. They'll come to you and they go, "How'd you do that trick?" Or they just want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, when it comes to that, I'd rather the pastor to do it. And that's basically what we did. But he told me before being on, he goes, 3 ladies up front, they're the ones that started the campaign to get me fired. And they're just here to get you and do whatever you. So I did my best telling the difference between magicians and sorcerers and all of this stuff. And I went through all of that. And so they was writing stuff down. And at the end, this lady came up, very large lady. She had orange hair and like a really wet flower. I remember her perfect. Her hair was all teased up and it was orange. And she said, she read, and I forgot the name of the scripture, but you shouldn't practice deception. Because I explained why magicians are different than sorcerers. And she said, you may not be a sorcerer, but you practice deception, and deception's wrong. And God just gave me, I just looked at her, I go, "Well, do you dye your hair?" And she got very angry and turned and left. And the pastor thought it was the greatest thing ever and stuff.
I do like that.
And they did fire him. He lost his job. But
seems like that pastor was a little vindictive. But
I think he was.
But
if he's hearing this, good.
I do like that turn. I mean, because that's true, though. That is, you are deceiving people if you're, in a sense, if you're.
And a football team fakes one way and goes the other way. Is that a sin? I mean, you can take it too far.
All right, Robert Wood. Do magicians develop an?
There's a lot of magicians.
I'd like to know if this Dan Owings did put this in his sermon.
Oh,
it was 3 years ago, so he's had time.
He might have quit listening to the podcast by now, but hopefully not. Robert Wood, do magicians develop an hour of material in a similar way to comedians, or do they often stick with the same material for a long period of time? Thanks for the podcast, fellas.
Wow.
I think a lot of comedians stick with the same material for a long period of time.
Well, this is where me and Nathan differ so much. When I grew up, it was very hard to have a good hour. And it was like your child. I'm still doing tricks. that I did in my first show when I was at Opryland in 98, 99, all those, that long ago. I was always told by my manager, don't go on television. There was a guy named
The guy you bet the Titanic?
No.
Yeah,
no, it was a different
first?
one.
Okay.
But like Amazing Jonathan was the funniest comedy magic. Went on television and did a special, and he couldn't perform for 5-10 years because everybody knew every joke he ever did.
Mhm.
And your second show will never be as good as the first. And, I mean, different in comedy, but for magicians, it's very hard to get 10 things. And for me now, I have 10 tricks in my show, and I'm working on new stuff all the time. But who am I going to get rid of? What trick am I going to go, you're not good enough, you're gone? And it's something I've been doing for 8 years or 10 years. And you know, and with magic, you have to learn the trick backwards and forwards before you make it funny, because you can't be thinking about what you got to do. You got to have that down pat so much. And now I can think and look and see and all the funny stuff that happens. And so it takes a good year to get something where it's really, really funny. And so it's very hard for me to throw away. Nathan and them, they were loving me to just throw things away. But I know in my heart it's not as funny as the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But next year, I'm no longer trying to travel with Nathan so much in theaters. He doesn't need me. He don't need 3 people when he's doing 2 shows a night. Everybody has to cut too much.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be doing the arenas.
Oh, just the big ones.
The big ones. And if you ain't over 10,000, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
But also I'm going to be working in the round because he's getting ready stuff, I was told. So that changes everything. Magic, it's hard to do magic when you tell, I need section A to L to close their eyes just for a few minutes until I do this
Well,
stuff.
you really crushed on that Bridgestone show.
Yeah.
But I felt like I didn't. I did one of the weakest tricks I do. I was the one I used to do at Opryland with the kids.
Yeah.
But
it really crushed, though.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
That I hear that. But so that's what I'm working on, something right now that take the place of the gumball machine, which I would do, which I can do in the round. But for the most part, most of us, all the old guys, still we're doing a lot of the same material we've done for a long time, which might not be good. But I do sleight of hand close up. I'm learning that every day. And that's what keeps my brain sober, and that's what keeps me fun. And I'm always learning new tricks and doing them and forgetting them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you see my act, I bring somebody up on every trick. So that also makes it new.
Yeah.
It's never the same no matter what, because I don't know what that person's going to do or say or anything. And it could, you just never know.
I knew a comic that did a little bit of magic tricks, and he had one where he would go, has anybody got a $20 bill? And then the guy would give him a $20 bill, and he goes, you gave me this, right? You gave me this $20 bill. And the guy would go, yeah. And he would go, thank you. And he would put it in his pocket.
It's an old gag. It's not his, but it's still, it's so funny. How do you do it?
It is.
Have you ever seen, and I do, you ever seen the one where they go sign this and they pull out a bank pen that's got the chain on it?
Oh, yeah.
Magicians fight over that forever because they say, you got to quit doing that because it's not original. And that Gary, who filled in for Jay Leno, Gary, very funny guy, died not too long ago.
Gary Shandling.
He says he wrote that joke, and he says every magician stole that from me. He had a big rant in that. Well, I was happened to be watching. God, my brain. I'm sorry about being old. Who's the real cheap guy that a long time ago?
Jack Benny.
Jack Benny is on with Lawrence.
Us old guys have to stick together, Dusty.
Jack Benny's on with Lawrence Welch, and Lawrence Welch has to sign something. Jack Benny pulls a pen out of his pocket with a chain on it. So even Gary was wrong. That gag goes way back.
Somebody reached out to Jack Benny. I was doing that back in the 1800s.
But I personally, if you ever see me do that, I got a very good tag to that. The tag is what makes it. And that's what I try to tell young guys. If you're going, because my comedy was different than you. When I was doing clubs, being a prompt comic was not fun. No one liked that. And 2, they counted your laughs. And they would have some guy in the back, he come up, so you only have this many laughs a minute. They might have been longer or different or harder, but we have process that has to happen.
Yeah.
You know, you have to sign a card, you have to do this and that, and there's no laughing doing that always. So that's why the bank pin's so popular, because you can get a laugh. Here, sign this. Everybody sees the bank on the chain and they laugh, and that counts as a laugh.
I wish there would have been somebody counting laughs per minute for me. I would have moved up a lot faster in comedy.
Really? You
I mean,
think?
I got a lot of jokes, but I never, you got to sell tickets now. It's not about how many laughs they don't care how many laughs you get. How many tickets are you selling?
Yeah.
You know,
But
what I mean?
you think that has to do with your pace more than your jokes?
No, it's his jokes.
No. But are you slow, fast?
No, he's saying
I'm
you're
slow
you have a
paced,
lot of
but I
laughs
have a
from
lot
that.
of laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm uncomfortable on stage if people aren't laughing. So I'm all about as fast a laughs as I can get. Because if I have a hard time setting up a long joke because I'm uncomfortable. If they're not laughing, I'm like, oh no.
So it doesn't matter how powerful the laugh is. Is it worth it if it's a great laugh? Can you tell that is a great laugh, or they're just laughing because they're
I
one
think
a
so.
row?
I think they're all pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good about them.
Yeah. But you don't see one more powerful than the other?
Yeah, I mean, I have a powerful one, then I'll have a lot of tags, and then I'll have a powerful one. I feel like they're all pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's what's great.
Yeah.
If I'd rather have a powerful one than a bunch of little.
Yeah. I like to mix them both in.
Yeah.
I like to give them some jabs and then an uppercut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Nathan Mandsanger.
Oh, gosh.
Mandsanger. As you guys are the experts on all things names, I just found out that I'm going to be a first-time grandfather. I'm super excited, but we're having a heated family discussion on what my grandpa name should be. All right, that was confusing to me. On what my grandpa name should be. I prefer Poppy, but my kids are not fans. I would appreciate your expert input. I'm not a fan of Poppy. I like a classic. I like Grandpa or Pawpaw. That's what I like.
Wow.
I'm Southern. I like Grandpa, Pawpaw.
Right. Since I'm the grandfather here, I hate that. I seem like I'm talking too much.
No, I put this in for you.
I hate to bust your bubble. You're going to be whatever they can pronounce.
Well, that's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah, because they're going to say something. Gammy, my wife is called Gammy, but she was something I don't even remember. But it made no sense because that's all that Caleb could say, and so that's who you become. We've ever since I had kids and had money, we've always did Compassion Connection, Compassion International, and World Vision. We've had kids in those programs. We still have a boy that we're losing coming up pretty soon.
Why? Because he'll be an adult?
Yeah, he'll be 18. We have aged out 3 kids.
Okay.
That took them in all the way down to they were 18.
Sometimes your tone will start to seem sad.
But I don't mean to be
when
sad. It's sad that
we have one that we're losing.
That's why I asked to
and
clarify.
I just meant that we've had him since he was 6, and he'll be 18.
Yeah.
But my very first child we had was a little girl. She called me Pawpaw. And that was the name.
Pawpaw, yeah.
It means father. I don't know what it means over. She was from.
Who cares, right?
She was far over
I'm joking.
Pawpaw. Might have been tall one, but that's what she called me. So that's what the name I wanted.
That's what I called my grandpa, Pawpaw.
That's what
I like. I mean, my one grandfather died before I was born, and the other died when I was pretty young. So I didn't call him Pawpaw long, but that was what Pawpaw. That's what I like.
I like that.
Pawpaw and Mawmaw.
Yeah, Mama was mine.
Yeah.
So I call her Mama.
And then I had Granny. That was my other grandma, Granny.
And she liked it?
She died when I was pretty young, too. But so I don't know.
Sorry, if I hear that name one more time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to be whatever they call you.
Yeah.
And stuff. But you can start it off. You say, I'd like to be called this.
Yeah.
And it may not.
And then spank them every time they don't do it.
Yeah. Just same way you teach a dog to pee.
Newspaper.
How many grandkids do you have?
We have 7.
They all call you the same thing?
Yes.
What do they call you?
Papa.
Oh, Papa.
Okay.
Because that's what our little girl Yanya.
But Poppy to me, this guy.
Poppy is like a jug or something that eats in poppy seeds.
Poppy seems like what like a Latin woman would call the man that she's into. Right?
Yeah.
No. Now
Poppy.
you know he's never going to go with that now. His wife's going to go, no, you're out.
But maybe Nathan's Latin. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Nathan. You can't use that.
All right.
Or she can't ever see this podcast.
All right. Bree Tosolini.
Oh, I know this girl.
Do you?
She's Abigail's best friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she came to help me at Zany's.
All right.
She was great.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. I went
There you go,
to
Bree.
Vegas with Nate's sister. We went to a Mac King magic show, and she was so excited when they asked for a volunteer and they picked her. When she walked up and turned to the crowd, her fly was down. Everyone noticed it was wide open. I thought she would be embarrassed, but when I told her, she thought it was hysterical. Out of all the fun things in Vegas we did, that's my top memory. Like father, like daughter.
Okay.
I think that last line was added, but like father, like daughter. I think that was
Because I did 2 shows. The first time I did the Grand Ole Opry, it wasn't the Grand Ole Opry, but it was on that stage. The first time I did it, I did a whole show with my fly open and my shirt tail hanging out.
On purpose?
Not on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I had a spling thing. I did this quite often. I had a trick that I had to fix it by going into this pocket. I cut holes in the corner of my pockets. I had a handkerchief tied, and I would have to feed it through that hole all the way across my fly and into this pocket. So I could do this with a handkerchief between my pockets. A very funny trick, the way I did it. But you'd have to see it.
Yeah.
I could bring that one back for in the round.
I mean, it seems funny. Just imagine it.
But the problem was, in setting that up, a lot of times I would forget to zip the pants back up. So I did many shows with a little handkerchief hanging out of my fly.
Could they see the handkerchief through?
No, I didn't do that. It wasn't that type of show, but they could on days I left it open.
Yeah.
They were going, wow, no wonder.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had this lady at the Opry stage came up to me and she said, "You're very funny." And she goes, "I love your little tribute to Minnie Pearl." And I thought, well, she goes, "Yo, with your shirt hanging out, your fly. I guess that you were honoring her." And I looked down. That was the first time I noticed that my fly when that thing was out. And I had to go, "Yes, I hope she enjoyed it." So embarrassing. So I guess that's what it is. And that was true. I remember Abigail doing that, and her fly was open. And
were you there?
Yeah, we all went to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mike King, he's at the Excalibur now. He and stuff. He's doing shows there.
Is that the big ball?
No, Excalibur is where they have the where the horses go at each other.
Oh yeah,
and they do that. I don't know if that's really right, but it's where all those guys dance. Men Down Under or Thunder. I don't know. But
in Vegas.
Yeah, it's in Vegas. But he's a daytime, one of the funniest comics. The guy who I went to high school with Lance Burton, who had a great big show in Vegas. And Mike King lived down the street from us. And at one time, all 3 of us did a show on the strip in Vegas. And we lived less than a mile from each other in Louisville growing up.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
I was trying to look it up. I think I accidentally just booked myself a room at the Excalibur, but oh well.
Oh
yeah, that's it.
Wow, that's a nice place.
Okay, well, I'll be staying there October. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, go see Mike. Will get you in. It's a great show. Great show.
Go see Mike, and then the guys dancing. Mac, yeah. Stay for the dancers. All right, Zach Johnson. Dusty's favorite movie must be Scary Movie 2. He mentioned it like 5 times on the podcast. Well, it's not my favorite, but it is a funny movie. Scary Movie 2.
I never saw one.
It is. I only saw 2. 2's the only one worth watching, but it is.
How do you know that? If it's the only one you saw.
Well, I don't know.
You just know.
Somebody, somebody they hand delivered me a comment. They said my comment never gets read, so they hand delivered me.
You're starting something, Dusty.
How do we do that?
Should I not do it?
I mean, we're too far in now.
It's pretty long.
Well, then we
it's a
shouldn't.
Card here.
Oh,
let's give it a try.
All right.
Nate, Buckeye, Dusty, and Aaron. When my wife and I were getting ready for our honeymoon, I was excited to share my favorite audio mystery series with her. The entire honeymoon, whenever we would drive a while, I would turn on a mystery, and she proceeded to fall asleep quickly every time. Fast forward to vacation in Utah, driving across the desert, I turned on Nateland to keep myself entertained. To my surprise, she enjoyed listening to it. I mean, she still fell asleep. It was just slower than normal. That's a 5-star podcast review, in my opinion. Thanks for all the laughs, gents. Wednesdays are great. You probably would not have picked that one, would you?
Nah,
Okay.
not at
But
all.
thank you, Caleb. He came to my show.
Delete.
All right, so if you want to get read on the podcast, go to Dusty's show,
Yeah.
bring 3 people with you,
Yes.
and then
Buy a
hand
ticket,
him-
buy some merch.
Write him a card.
and you too can be on this podcast.
Yes.
What you tell us about HelloFresh?
Hello, folks, to HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That is why it's America's #1 meal kit. A crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinnertime recipe rut. Keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious with HelloFresh. Quick and easy recipes and 15-minute meals can get a tasty dinner on the table in less time than it takes to get takeout or delivery. Plus, it's 25% cheaper than takeout. This part of the ad was written by my wife. We had some HelloFresh, and I had a great experience with HelloFresh. I ordered family-friendly food, and that's exactly what we got. The Parmesan chive chicken and potatoes were delicious. The cooking directions were clear and simple in the end. We loved how the flavors complemented each other. The zucchini panini casserole was the perfect hearty dish on a rainy day. My toddler loved it.
Wow.
She's good at writing this. HelloFresh even sent us pizzadillas, a lunch and snack combo. We were able to make the food and keep it in the fridge for when my kids wanted it after nap time. We liked how fresh the produce is at HelloFresh, and the serving sizes were perfect for my growing family. That's all true. We went out to the cabin in McMinnville, and McMinnville has some good restaurants, but we've eaten at every one of them multiple times. So we had this HelloFresh we took out to the cabin with us. We made meals every night. It was great. And we got meals for I don't know how many people it was for, but my mom came in and we fed her. It was great. Go to HelloFresh.com/50Nateland and use code 50Nateland for 50% off plus free shipping. That's 50% off plus free shipping with code 50Nateland at HelloFresh.com/50Nateland, America's #1 meal kit.
Right. One of the things about HelloFresh is you can say you're going to be gone and don't send me the meal or something for a week. Nathan forgets. They forget to do that all the time. So we used to get a lot of hey, we're not going to be there, but we got a bunch of meals.
Oh, yeah.
But now that I'm living with Nate's house is a little fancier than our house. And so I did cooking our first night here. I said, we'll just eat some HelloFresh and put it in the oven to warm it up and stuff.
That's dangerous for you.
Yeah, but it was an oven. I could do an oven. So I cooked it in there and I told my wife, it's ready. And I put it in the top oven, but I turned the bottom oven on.
Oh.
I didn't know how to do that. So I cooked it an hour and it doesn't get very warm in the top if the bottom's on.
Okay.
It takes way long.
It's a double-decker oven.
Yeah, it's a double-decker oven.
That is a fancy
big
oven.
fancy oven.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I even screwed up HelloFresh. But we did
Well,
we did have it.
Who knew there were even stoves with 2 levels
Yeah,
like
who
that?
would have a stove like that?
I have
That's
no
crazy.
idea.
Double-decker. Well, this week we're talking about Halloween. This is our last episode before Halloween. And I know you don't do Halloween now, but you did as a kid, I bet.
A lot of times. I got a lot of experience with Halloween.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite costume?
My favorite costume was as an adult in my 20s when I was drinking a bit.
Yeah.
I had 2 costumes that I liked a lot, but Jack Sparrow was really popular during that time.
Yeah.
And I had long hair and I grew my goatee real long and I braided up the goatee and then I put the braids in my hair and I went out drinking, a couple of days before Halloween. So there were not a lot of people dressed up. There were a few downtown Charleston. I was still drinking in the daytime. I went out early. I was so excited about the costume and I went out by myself. But I always knew a bunch of people. And I was walking on this street in Charleston, and there was a college, and I was dressed up like Jack Sparrow, pretty sauced up, and there was a bunch of people coming my direction, just one after another. And I just started high-fiving people. And everybody on that whole street gave me a high five. They were all so happy. It was a great moment. Later in the night, I blacked out and ruined a lot of friendships.
Okay,
but early in the day, it was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a waiter then still?
Yes.
I would say dressing up. If I went to a restaurant and my waiter dressed up, I'm going to be extra nice. I would think this is great. This is great. I'm glad you're into this.
My other favorite was I would dress up like Austin Powers sometimes, because a lot of people, when I had a short kind of swoosh haircut and I had glasses, people thought I looked like Austin Powers anyway.
I would love to see that picture.
Yeah. So people thought I looked like him anyway. So it was an easy costume. I would just buy the cheap pimp costume from Walmart. And then like purple.
Just buy a suit from Walmart. You're there. Why a costume?
Yeah, exactly. And then and that was great. I would always end up at the Huddle House on James Island, and I'd be, real drunk. And the Austin Powers was great because I was doing the elevator trick for the staff, where you push the button and just go down. They loved it. It was a great time.
All right. I always like making my own costumes too. Last year I went as you, and that was fun, just picking out the stuff. And I was gonna go as you this year, but all your stuff smells like smoke. So.
Yeah, it sure does. Thanks for bringing that memory back.
So that didn't work. But I was trying to think as a kid.
But you're not, I'm way older than you, but you were in the generation where you made your own costumes. I doubt that y'all went out and bought many.
Well, I did have some Jerry Seinfeld's got a joke about the plastic
you had that?
and the thing pops off. Yeah, I had that.
You made a lot of costumes out of a feed sack.
I'm not that old, but I remember, I don't know, once at a work party, I would try to go as Eminem.
Yeah, I like that.
I would bring out my 80s stuff. I still got some 80s shirts and stuff like that, and I would wear those to parties.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to know more about your M&M costume.
Yeah.
Were you doing some raps?
No, I would
or like the candy?
No, you had it right the first time.
Okay.
I went with candy. I told you how old I am.
No,
I was going to
rapper.
Which one were you? Were you chocolate or the red one?
I don't remember. I was trying to be
Did you have like spaghetti on your sweater?
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
It's about all I remember.
don't even get that.
That's one of his lines. So you got some pictures here of the kids doing trick-or-treating.
This is Caleb, my grandson.
Yeah.
And he went as Nate.
You can also see that back here on the shelf. People have often asked, who is that? Is that Nate? No, that's Caleb.
Yep, that does.
But he's dressed as Nate.
He went as Nate. Even got him a mic and everything. He's doing the Vanderbilt sign right there. Had a whole little routine. And that was one of those nights where every door he had to explain who he was.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you?
Now he may not have to do that.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know. Back then he did.
Yeah.
But that was it. We're a big family on dressing up. Especially my grandkids still do all that now. They like to go make up different. This is me and Nate when I was in college. And
look at that.
Wow. And I was not dressing up. I played.
You played college football.
We had college football in a NIAA, very small league and everything. I was a quarterback. I led the league 4 years in touchdowns and interceptions.
Wow.
Every time I threw it, somebody caught it. It might not be my own team, but somebody caught it.
This feels like this is not even about the costume at this point. This is a brag.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, I said interception, so that means I wasn't a very good quarterback.
Oh, okay.
How old were you here?
I missed the joke.
I was probably 25, 6, maybe.
So you're a little bit older for that average college.
Well, it took me a long time to get to college.
Yeah.
But that's Nathan's costume. He's a football player, and he probably was a football player 12 out of the 15 years that he always went as a football player. But
very cute.
He wanted to be Vanderbilt, but back then you couldn't get Vanderbilt costume. You couldn't get a jersey or anything. Vanderbilt, Cracker Barrel wasn't carrying them yet.
No, I barely can now.
Yeah, still hard. But that was Nathan's favorite costume and stuff.
That's very cute.
Yeah. This is all right. This shows you how much we gave up when Abigail came along, and because Nathan has that joke about watching that movie and that he had to call us to come get him. I was the one that came and got him. They were Halloween, or I think is what they were watching. Mm-hmm. And then when we got to Abigail, we just so this is Abigail dressing up. I thought she got all those clothes are her my wife's mom's clothes. So I thought she went as my wife's mom because I was quite dumb.
You're like, how sweet.
But she told all her friends she was Pretty Woman. I didn't even know what that the pretty woman's a prostitute, and I probably shouldn't have let my daughter go out as that. But I thought really she was just, I guess she's being Carol's mom. I didn't know. But that just showed you how much we kind of gave up.
But I think this costume, by the time in Pretty Woman that she's wearing this, I think she's on the way out.
Oh, you're right. That's after she went shopping.
Yeah. I
She's
think at this
classy.
point she's on the way out of that profession. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to explain that at every door? I'm on my way out.
Yeah.
And is that her friend with her?
Yes. That's what's
And she is Pretty Woman's friend in the
I
movie?
guess.
She this is more of the early stage of Pretty Woman.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping she's on the way out.
Yeah.
She's already been shopping or whatever.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to her. All right.
This is a tradition that we as a family do. We all have. It's true that Nathan took over the family stuff. Like we used to have everything at our house now. Nathan does Christmas and Easter, and Abigail gets Halloween. And so she decorates and stuff like that. But one of our traditions is we always meet and go out to different stores, and they pick their costumes or buy it. And this is one we just went. We had to go without Nate because of the Saturday Night Live thing. He didn't get to come home, and and the longer you wait, the harder it is to find what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because
y'all are in
they want
the
the most
section back there.
So he wanted to be a ninja, but all the ninja outfits that fit him are gone by now because we waited too late. Harper's going to be a police officer. Good for her, not the bad guy. And Maya is going to be something from a cartoon I never heard of. I have no idea what she is. My other two girls are making their own costumes from scratch. So we got to go to Hobby Lobby for them and just buy a bunch of stuff and paint and stuff like that.
What are they going to be?
Some kind of Martian. The Martian with the big head. Is it a all blue?
I mean, that could be a bunch of them.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a funny movie.
Mars Attacks?
No, I don't know. I don't think it's Mars Attacks. I've heard of that. It was something I never heard of. That's it.
Megamind. Oh,
do you know what that is?
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's fun.
She's going to be Megamind. So I had to get a bald cap for her, some blue thing, and we had to get the big collar, which was made out of a car seat.
Oh,
that little thing piece. So she's making it all. So that'll be fun for her. This is a great little story. This is because Halloween, you go to pumpkin patches and fall festivals and things. So
make sure you're talking to the mic.
They won. His class did something that won a free trip to the pumpkin patch, and so he's walking around looking. And we had the whole film for this, but that's my grandson, the card, Zach. And there's a sign out there that says, "What does it say?
Keep your eyes on Jesus.
Keep your eyes on Jesus." And in that cage is a bunch of donkeys. And Zach goes, "I bet one of those donkeys' name is Jesus. We better keep an eye out for him because they're telling he must be pretty wild."
Oh, yeah.
So he's looking, he's telling his friends, "Look out for Jesus. He's in there somewhere."
That's great. If you're listening, we'll post all these photos on our social media so you can see what Steven's talking about.
Yeah.
Do you feel like costumes have changed though since like they're more intense now than they were?
Way more evil.
I think Halloween has gotten so evil now.
I agree 1,000%.
I mean, when I was in my 20s, it just felt like it was like when I was a kid, it felt pretty innocent. When I was in my 20s, it felt like we were all just going out to party. And then now it just seems super evil. The horror, everything's a horror movie now. I say horror, not horror. I like to say horror. And they're all so evil and like twisted in a way. They're not like, scary. It's like some kind of messing with your mind. Yeah. And everybody in the whole country's got anxiety now. I'm like, well, maybe stop watching scary movies. That's why I don't watch them. I'm like, I don't need to be scared. No. I don't like being scared. I don't need some psychological thriller running my life. I don't need that stuff in my mind. So I think it's also evil now.
Yeah. I used to be a clown, Yo-Yo the clown. And I was a clown when it was safe to be a clown. There's no clowns anymore. They're all evil, mean. Yes. They got big teeth and they bite your head. So, come on, that's not what a clown is.
Right.
And stuff. I hate it. Everything has to be demons or something related to it and stuff. Ours, ghost was just a sheet over your head with two eyes cut out.
Yeah, and you're just going, woo. Yeah.
And you did the ghost for your second time out. You would be a hobo first time, and then you put a ghost thing over top of it and go out again.
Double the candy.
Double the candy. Especially if you found ones that gave out those big bars, you had to go to that house at least 3 times.
Oh yeah, and it's like getting candy back then felt like a bigger deal. Now just candy's everywhere.
I
Now
know.
everybody has candy all the time.
Right.
Candy's everywhere. It's like, is it even that big of a deal?
That's right. Easter and Halloween's the only time you got to get candy.
And candy felt cool. Candy feels like all poison now. Back then it was like, oh, don't have too much sugar. Now it's like, don't have too many weird chemicals.
Right.
That's what candy is now. You read the ingredients, just a bunch of weird chemicals, petroleum in there.
If you're tuning in, we're 3 old men complaining about Halloween. Do you guys know how Halloween started?
I would assume that it was a satanic ritual.
I always thought it was to disguise yourself from other demons so they wouldn't come back and get you from the dead or something. So
that's close.
That sounds like what I said too.
Well, okay. It was a Celtic festival. They felt like the New Year started November 1st.
Right.
Because that's kind of when
it's
getting cold and everything's dying. So November 1st is the New Year. So October 31st was
That's a good time for the New Year, right? When everything's dead.
We need to
Yeah. So October 31st was
the Day of the Dead.
Yeah. So they felt like there was that transition periods when the dead and the living kind of got crossed up and the dead spirits would come out. So they would disguise themselves as maybe like a demon or evil or whatever. So not to catch them.
And back then the church itself came into new towns and new country. They didn't want to just say, you can't have all your rituals. They wanted to kind of, like Easter. That's right. You can keep the bunny, but we're going to add the cross.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this. And you can keep the guy in the white beard, but we're going to do all of this. So and I think Halloween was another one that was just sucked up into all that.
It was. The Pope, to kind of, just what you said, he kind of thought, well, let's incorporate some of it to get people on board. So he made November 1st All Saints Day.
Yeah.
And then it was called All Hallows. And then October 31st was All Hallows Eve, Halloween. So it had some pagan starts, and then it kind of got incorporated with the Catholic Church, and then it became what it is today.
Yeah, it comes and I remember when our kids was real little. It was Wayne Denton and our Happy Meal guy.
Yeah.
So his daughter and my daughter were pumpkins, and so we went to a porch. And this lady came out, and she was a pastor of a church. And she just blasted my little... at that time, you just let the kids go, and you stand it back a little bit, and they get their candy. And she was preaching to our little girls, about 4. This is all from the devil. You're all of this stuff, or whatever. And I said, I just went up and grabbed her. I go, next year, you're not going to be the pumpkin from hell. We're just going to have to make you something else and stuff. But it was just rare back then. But some people... Even when my kids were little.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say today, most people that probably think that way just don't turn the lights on.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
And I admire that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I would not yell at kids for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't be yelling
It's
at
not
kids.
the time. I mean, still, most kids, even today, see it as free candy day.
Yeah.
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 I agree.
You don't give candy out now. Y'all do it?
Yeah.
What do you think about teenagers?
Nah, I feel like 12, 13 is about the cutoff.
I used to think that. Now I go, I'm glad you're doing this, having fun, getting candy. It could be worse. You could be going doing. You could go get in a lot of trouble, but you're still going out and getting
Stealing
candy.
From the
That's right. You still got a little bit of kid in you, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not against it anymore. I go more power to them. They want to, if they're nice at my door and stuff like that, I would give them.
I always invite the kids in.
Do you really?
No.
No, I would say no wonder. Everybody's glad you got out of it. Come on in.
Yeah.
Now, when they come to your house and say trick or treat, you say trick.
Yeah, I used to. And Carol stopped all that because it would take too long. I always had several magic tricks. I had a great trick, and it's one where you make a light appear in your hand. And then so I would go, you win the special prize. And I would make a light and then drop it in the bag. And when you drop it, you let the light go off. So then the little kid would go out in the yard and dump his candy out looking for that light.
Oh, yeah.
And I found that was kind of mean.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I got a friend of mine, Pat Hazel, shouldn't say his name. He used to put ice cubes when they were kids. They would put hands full of ice cubes in people's bags.
Oh.
And then they said it would melt and the bag would break. And the next morning they would go out and find candy all over the streets.
Wow.
That's mean.
You could
That
just
is
do
mean.
that, Dusty.
That's what you should do.
That
Throw
is
ice
mean.
cubes in there.
Well, save those kids from eating that poison.
Yeah. Keep it for yourself.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't poison when we were doing it.
Yeah, back in the day, the candy was probably a lot better. It was just probably real chocolate and some sugar in there.
Yeah.
Now it's
and you didn't eat it every day, like you said. It was such a rare thing that it wasn't going to kill you and stuff. I did get we had a house down the street from me that everybody said a witch lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, there's the only one really big memory I had. And I remember we would just dare everybody to go to the witch's house.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went, and she came out. It was very scary.
That's where you got your magic powers.
No, yeah. She gave me lemon heads.
Oh, that's fun.
I've never seen a box of lemon heads. But when I got home and opened them up, they were full of acorns.
Oh,
really?
All acorns.
Wow.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So she wasn't a witch, just something sounded like witch.
I know I didn't eat the acorns, and maybe I would
You
not
should have
be here.
planted. Should have planted the acorns.
Yeah.
Could have gone beanstalk. Who knows what would have happened? That's a true story. She did that. So I just wondered if she knew everybody thought she was a witch.
Now that's something I want to do. Give out some candy, but in there it's just nuts.
I'll have you back in Halloween and I'll be stuffing the stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you believe in witches?
I believe in witchcraft because I believe in demons. I think ghosts are demons. I don't believe people come back from the dead. I believe that Satan does, and he disguises himself. And so I do believe. Man. I believe everything demon.
You really saved me from having to say that. I appreciate that.
There
That's
you
why
go.
I started with
like
him.
that. Yeah.
I wanted you to look good.
Yeah, I like that.
But I've met many of your magician friends. They're all just like you, just good, wholesome guys that aren't trying to deceive anybody. I mean, not in a satanic way, but are there magicians out there that either like professional wrestlers who try to act like they come back from the dead or try to do
really, I always disagree with them. Doug Henning went off and thinking that and following Eastern and witchcraft and stuff like that. And there's magicians that do that and that practice that stuff. And I think you're just getting in line with the devil. Me and Dusty talked a little bit about this before. When I first became a Christian, I had a pastor tell me that magic was evil and stuff. And a lot of people think I sacrifice cats and things like that. And I just don't like cats. Dusty. It has nothing to do
I get it. I don't really like cats either.
It had nothing to do with tricks. But I gave it away. I walked away from it. I said, if it's evil, I need to give it away. And then I went and saw a guy named Andre Cole, and he used to work for Campus Crusade for Christ, just died last year. First Christian magician that I liked and that I thought was really good. He did a regular magic show. He was an amazing inventor. Copperfield, every magician you ever heard of does his tricks. And he was also the one that stopped the Masked Magician from being on TV because he did Masked Magician was exposing old magic that nobody had, but he exposed one of Andre Cole's tricks, and he's still alive. And he sued Fox and all of them for putting it on, and he won, and they had took the show off.
Wow!
So it's good for Andre. But anyway, I saw him. He did his real show. But the whole show, he goes, I got one more trick at the end. I'm going to come back, but I'm going to share my testimony.
Yeah.
And he goes, and if you don't want to hear that, no problem, be great. I'm going to take a 10-minute break, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to share my testimony, and then I'm going to show you a really cool trick. So, of course, most people never left because they wanted to see that real cool trick. So I just thought that was really good, and I got to go back and meet him and talk to him. And during the show, he talked about the sorcerer, that the word, what he explained, that King James saw a magician do a trick, and I think it was the cup and ball, which I do. It was just a sleight of hand trick with things appear under the cup. And the king said, he's a sorcerer. He calls himself a magician. Magicians back then were jesters. The jesters were magicians, and sorcerers were sorcerers. Sorcerers claimed to have power, and they wanted to have power, and they would do drugs and potions. We get our word pharmaceutical from this, and this was all in it's in his book, and as we talked, it says, so you should beware of Walgreens, not magicians. But King James was fooled so bad that he said, the magician must have put me under a spell. I must have blacked out, woke up, and the things were under the cup. There's no way he could have gotten underneath there without doing that. So he said in the King James, and he said, make the word magician too. And so for a long time, the magicians couldn't go to churches and everything. That's why a lot of Christian magicians won't say they're magicians. They say they're illusionists. Because it's like an illusionist can come to your church, but not a magician. And so after reading that and understanding it, and that the first magicians they were putting down sorcerers. They were going, these guys are just using tricks. And just like the Moses with the staff, their magician was able to copy that. And
how they do that?
I know how I would do it. But you ever seen the appearing cane?
You know how you would make a staff turn into a snake?
Piece of cake. Have you ever seen the trick where the magician makes a cane disappear?
No.
Like boom, there's a big cane.
Yeah,
or you can get a cane and make it turn into a handkerchief. Just put a snake in that cane and disappear the cane, and boom, a snake comes out.
Wait, just disappear the cane?
The cane, that's very easy to do. I don't want to expose everything, but it's easy. It's a trick you can buy for $2, and you put a snake in there, and it'll disappear, and the snake will fall on the ground, and you've turned the.
But they also picked the snake back up and made it a staff again.
They did?
I don't know if they did. Moses did.
But Moses did.
Moses, the snake swallowed their
way better trick.
Yeah, his snake ate their snakes, and then
but again, I believe they were they were staying pretty close to the demons, and they might have had some powers coming. Satan's powerful, and he'll do the Antichrist will do some pretty neat, look like magic trick things, and probably just be real satanic stuff. But anyway, so he just explained why you can be a magician and a Christian at the same time. And at that time, Bennikins was doing magic shows. And I'd been out of magic for about 3 years, and I was starving. And so they offered me $100 a night, which was in 83.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of money just to come in and do card tricks.
Yeah.
So I remembered 5 tricks that I used to do, and I worked for 3 weeks at Bennikins, and then I never put the magic back down. And I would always do that. And I do always try to explain if I'm doing anything in the church or anything that I have no powers. That you learn magic the same way you learn to play a piano or guitar or anything like that. It's just a skill
practice
that you can use. But I don't want you to think. But that's why I avoid the mind reading tricks and stuff. And I could do a mind reading trick and you would think there's no way he could do that without having, but I'm telling you there is.
Yeah, I don't like that story. I don't like hypnotist or that sort of stuff either. I did NACA, and I was just, I went to watch someone that I knew. I went to watch their set, and then I just stuck around, and the next person was a hypnotist, and I was way in the back, and he was doing it, and I started to feel real weird and like zoned out, and I left. I was like, I got to get out of here. I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I got to get out of this room.
I get in a lot of trouble for this. I worked for a hypnotist with 8 years.
Well, don't get yourself in trouble.
No, I don't believe them.
I don't want the
hypnotist
to come for us.
I know a guy that did hypnotist.
Rich Guzzi is pretty ripped. I don't know if you've seen it.
I
don't want to get beat
mad
up
at
by Rich Guzzi.
I don't think you can do hypnotists. I think you can hypnotize somebody to quit smoking, lose weight, but it takes sessions. You have to meet with these people a lot and to get them down. And I've seen guys, I knew a guy magician that did that. But to get 25 people up there and to hypnotize them in 5 minutes to do anything, no. I don't think that's possible.
Do you think there's some plants? Because some of these people seem like they're really like you just see videos of it and it's like, why would you just act like that?
Right.
Yeah. You want to know the truth? What I think? This is what I think. I know the hypnotist will get a lot of hate mail on all this, but I think I could do it because I worked for him for 8 years, 3 times a night sometimes. You give me 25 people, and what I do is all I'm doing is looking for the people that really want to be hypnotized. And they're really trying really hard. So they're doing, okay, your code. They give you all these easy stuff. And he's getting rid of the people that that are think that it's real and they're waiting to go, I'm not code. So he gets rid of them. He gets the ones trying, that's playing along. And you get them going down a little track. And then all of a sudden it turns. And now you have to dance like a chicken or do something dumb. But you've already played and lied to the whole audience, the whole show. You can't all of a sudden go, oh, I was kidding. I'm out.
Right.
So you're in show business now. So you have to keep pretending that you're hypnotized. And now some people will call that a state of hypnosis, that you get to a point where now you're going to do everything I want because I got you. But it's not like you're in a trance. It's like, I got you. You just lied to all these people, so you got to do whatever I tell you to do. There was a guy that came in every night for 3-4 years. Was a heavyset guy, and he would do the same thing. He could buck dance like anybody you've ever seen, and he would do that. And then he would fall in love with another woman, and he was married, and he would just fall in love, and he was hilarious and the funniest thing in the world. And
the same guy would come to get hypnotized
every show. And one night, the last night, and I would be out in the audience filming it because the guy would pay me extra to film the show for him. And the guy's sitting down and he talks to his wife. He goes, I want to try to get hypnotized. She goes, you've been hypnotized every night. And for the last 2 years, he goes, no, it's never worked on me. And, he's playing the game. And so this night, on the last show, everybody that ever thought about trying wants to get on that stage. So they just go flying up there. Mm-hmm. And so he didn't make it. So now he's sitting down beside me and he's not in the show. And he's so bummed out. And because it'll be another year before he gets to perform again. And then he goes on and the guy's doing the show. And all of a sudden he stands up in the audience and starts doing everything. And the people go, that guy out there. And then the hypnotist notices him and knows that he's fantastic, that he's great. So he calls him up. He got on the show.
Oh, so that guy he's putting on a show.
It's all show business. And I'll tell you this, my daughter Abigail went up there and it took me 3 years to get her to admit to me that she was not hypnotized. Because Abigail's perfect. She's going to do everything you tell her to do and act all that stuff out. And she kept saying, Dad, I did not know. I go, Abigail, you're lying. You knew everything. No, I didn't. And finally she goes, okay, I knew everything.
Wow.
People are not.
One time.
But I think you can be.
I went to a hypnotist when I was about 19 to quit smoking cigarettes. Yeah. And we were in a room, like a hotel conference room. And I really wanted to quit. And my sister went, and my sister needed to quit. So we were really trying to do it. And we all went in there. We did the whole thing. And then the moment we walk out, one of the guys that was in the room, he just lights up a cigarette right outside of the thing to let everybody know, I'm not getting hypnotized. And he did it like he was tough, right? He's like he was like, oh, you can't hypnotize me. Yeah, sure, I can get addicted to something, but I can't be hypnotized. And I went home that night and I was working a third shift. Not all the time job, but that week I was working third shift. So I went home and showered and I had to go to work that night. And I was just like, how am I going to quit smoking? And I ended up just quitting because I was like, I knew my sister wanted to quit. So I was like, I'm just going to quit. And I don't know if the hypnotizing had any effect on me at all, but I did quit.
That's awesome.
I mean,
I got a guy that's what he did.
Yeah.
And he said it would take several times you have to really build a trust up with the person to get them to start listening to you and do stuff. But, and I believe that kind of stuff happens. And I have a hard time believing that you can get 30 people up in the night in 5 minutes to have them all under and they're doing what you say.
Yeah. But they do narrow it down like you're talking about.
Yeah, they're picking the guy that's trying hard.
But that's interesting. The one guy who got he's putting on a show.
Yeah.
And so his wife would go with him.
Yeah. And fight with him about, honey, you've done this every night. Yeah. That'd be a great question.
Yeah. I bet they are.
Yeah.
I bet his wife's pretty sick of it.
That's enough of it.
Yeah.
I've had friends in my life, though, that
start getting paid.
Yeah.
They don't seem like the type that would be seeking the spotlight, very quiet, mild-mannered.
Yeah.
They've been hypnotized.
They're the perfect person. Because they're not the type. So this is the one chance they get to be that type.
Oh, they get to say, I was hypnotized.
That's right. So you're getting the freedom to do whatever you want. Things that in your darkest dreams you would never do. I get to now do it and blame somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
And all you have to do is say, really? I did that? I can't. That's my opinion. And I know there's a lot of people that disagree with it, but I don't think that takes away from the show. If a guy's a good hypnotist, he can put a great show.
Of how jacked Rich Guzzi is, I'm going to go ahead and say I believe it. And if I run into you at a club.
I mean,
Dusty almost got hypnotized just in the back of the room.
I can believe it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was weird. I don't know what was going on, but I was like, I didn't feel like I was up ready to dance or whatever, but I was like, I started to zone out and I was like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a hypnotist and need some people as a plant, find good talent on Indeed. Indeed's the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can go Do it all with Indeed. Take it easy and keep it simple. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Why wait? Indeed's U.S. data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. One of the things we love about Indeed is that they make hiring all in one easy place. With Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Start hiring now with $75 with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job at Indeed.com/Nate. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/Nate. Indeed.com/Nate. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Yeah, Indeed.
All right.
Dusty, let me show you this
Before you do it real quick, I don't want these hypnotists to think that you're going to get more hate mail than you did on the airplane thing.
Yeah.
I think there are people that are very good at what they do. They put on a great show.
Yeah.
Get my hat's off to them.
And
you're not attacking them. You're talking to the people in the audience.
But it's
calling them liars.
Yeah, but I think those people are great because they know how to pick the people.
It's also, it's debatable if they're hypnotized, if they're like, it's their opportunity to be entertained. It's like you almost are hypnotized in a way.
Yeah,
to where you're
so
like,
I think that's what people believe.
where it's like you're like,
this is it.
I wouldn't normally act like this, but now I'm acting like this. I must be hypnotized.
Yeah, and if I take you down that road, you can't get out of it.
Yeah,
you got to do whatever they say.
And then you never want to admit that you weren't because you're
can't.
like, I did some pretty silly stuff.
Yeah. Sorry to you guys.
Well,
some of you guys are
is
great.
this gonna reveal how this trick is done?
No, it's watch it for 10 seconds here.
Okay.
Just to see.
But this would work. This is what I'm talking about.
Well, I thought it was quicker than this.
Here we go. He's about to make this thing disappear.
And instead of a handkerchief, you put a snake in there. Guess what you're holding, or guess what falls on the ground? A snake.
Well, I'm blown away by that trick.
That trick also works the other way around.
That's why I don't like this though,
king.
because I'm like, this guy, I don't know how he did that, and I don't care for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean
magic is
he's using something that you can find in every grocery store. Usually.
So the other thing they did where they were able to turn water into blood, which that could just be food dye or something, right?
It could be a lot of things.
And frogs.
But in the Bible, they
blood.
turned it to blood, and then the fish were dying. Everything
that's Moses' version.
Yeah.
They didn't say that died when they did it.
Everything was dying.
And then they created more frogs.
Yeah.
The plague.
And all this was related to the gods that they had.
Yes.
They worshiped God.
It was. Yeah.
So everything was God saying, your guy can do it. Can you do this? And God was showing them off.
Then after a while, they couldn't keep replicating it.
No.
And the flies, they say, it wasn't really flies. It was like dung beetles because they worship, a lot of the Egyptians worship the dung beetle.
I always wondered why the different Pharaoh, but the one that caught all his magicians to have the dream interpreted, none of them could do it.
That's right.
That's
Joseph. Daniel.
But Joseph also interpreted.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Dreams. I was like, why didn't y'all just lie? I mean, it seemed like you could just say anything.
Yeah, in 30 years.
Yeah.
At least I lived 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think you're probably terrified.
No, remember, they had to tell him the dream. He didn't tell them what the dream was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. Because they couldn't have lied because they didn't know what to lie about.
Oh, okay. You're right. So Joseph told him what the dream and then what it meant. Okay. All right. Well, staying on the Bible thing, there were witches. There was the witch of Endor.
Yeah.
And Saul got her summoned Samuel from the dead and tell him what was going to happen.
I believe that the witches today, and I believe they contact and seances and all that stuff can be real, but you're contacting demons. You're not contacting the real person.
So if you
I agree.
I've opened for like a medium at Zany's, and she tells people what's going on.
Yeah, that's called code reading.
But the in Samuel, when they conjure up Samuel, that's a weird one because it's a weird one to me because he's like, you shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
So it's like, that's where I'm like, I always think that you're not contacting the person, you're contacting a demon. But in that situation where he comes and he's like, you shouldn't be doing this, that's a weird one for me because it feels like they did bring him.
He almost thinks you think that, but that's a
and
good
he
question.
did correct.
Yeah, I never thought about it.
It's interesting, yeah.
He said, "You and your sons are going to die tomorrow in battle," and they did. I think Saul committed suicide, but he got it right too.
Yeah.
So, and the witch was freaked out again, if she was like, oh, this is just my buddy Tom the demon, she was freaked out when she saw it.
Well, everybody likes to think around like they want to mess around with the demons and stuff like that. But anybody in the Bible that encounters angels or anything like that, they're terrified. They're never like, I mean, the angels will calm them down, but on first meeting, they're terrified.
Who I would.
The Israelites, when they were in the desert and God appeared to them on the mountain, after that, they were like, hey, Moses, will you just talk to God from now on? Like that scared us too much, Yeah,
I mean, I know this has become more of a Bible episode, but I just recently put together that the wise men, the Magi, that's the same word as magician.
Yeah, well, kind of. And they were astrologers. And a lot of people don't realize they were probably followers of Daniel. Because you remember when Daniel went there and he interpreted the dream, the king put him in charge of all of his wise people. So he taught them the way that he did and the signs in the sky and stuff. So those guys were probably disciples of Daniel. And so they studied the signs that Daniel told. So they knew the time the Messiah would come. So they knew that in the skies with the stars, and that's why they went and they were there. They were astrologers.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Here's the top Halloween costumes of 2023. Barbie's number one.
I figured that. One of my granddaughters is Barbie, and I don't like it.
You don't?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Why is that?
Because it's Barbie. I hadn't even seen Barbie, but I heard it's pretty much let's all hate men, Barbie people. That's just what I heard.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't think I'd see it anyway. But I have one of my granddaughters is being Barbie.
All right, you want to get some Halloween candy?
Now, is that all we're just doing number one? What was you don't know the number one for boys? I wonder what that is. I'm going to say Ninja because we couldn't find one.
Oh, yeah. So they're buying them
I think they combine. I think these are combined. These are boys and girls.
Spider-Man
is number 9.
Spider-Man is still? Wow.
Ninja was number 9 there.
Wow.
Yes.
A bunny?
I would think more superheroes would be in there, but...
Wendy's Adams. I thought that's an old thing.
I think they just did a reboot of a show.
Yeah, she's got her own show now. We can get the dog costumes if you like, or the babies and dogs. Barbie and Ken's number 1.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Bonnie and Clyde. Do kids even know who that is? That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into some Halloween candy.
Yeah. You should listen to me. All right, Halloween candy. So this is candy.com. They break down every state, what the top Halloween candy is, how they know, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess they just look at sales from a certain period of time. For Tennessee, it's the Tootsie Pop.
Wow.
Well, there must be a lot of doctors' offices buying... I mean, that
I like it. I'm a Tootsie Pop
too.
I like grape and red. No other ones.
I like them too, but that surprises me that that's the most popular.
Right. I've never licked it to the chocolate. I can't make it.
No,
as soon as it gets a little soft, I'm crunching.
Yeah.
But I still like those. I haven't had one in a long time though.
Number 2 is saltwater taffy.
In Tennessee.
This
really?
is Tennessee, and third Skittles.
That's just because they sell them at Buc-ee's and everywhere.
Maybe so.
And
this is
where else you get
shocking numbers.
Candy, that's loose, isn't it?
What?
Just a
saltwater taffy?
Yeah.
That you break it out of the pack?
Is that like Laffy Taffy?
I don't even know.
I don't even know how you buy that because when you get a big old box, you're not giving the kid a box. You're taking one out.
You used to get the little individual Laffy Taffies, and then you open it up, and there will be jokes in there.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You eat the candy, but there's jokes in the wrapper.
That's why you're probably in this business today.
Yeah.
One for
Laffy Taffy,
that needs to be.
It could be it. Who knows? I always loved a joke. I loved a joke as a kid.
Oh, you want to look at, so you're from
Kentucky.
And then we'll do Alabama.
Well, I want to see if anybody could guess their own state.
Oh, okay.
But I would not have guessed Reese Cups.
So,
my wife loves Reese Cups.
Oh, see,
I'm not okay.
Reese Cups would be the number 1 for all states.
Oh, wow. Really? They're expensive, and you only get 2.
Well, who knows how? I mean, this is crazy. Number 2's hot tamales, and 3rd Swedish fish.
Love hot tamales.
Okay,
they used to be one of my favorite ones. Alabama? What are you guessing?
I'm gonna say.
What is Swedish fish?
It's a rubbery.
It's almost like a Sour Patch Kid.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say. I don't know. Let's go. I don't know. Snickers bar.
Oh, nobody's got that much money unless you're young Alabama people. Maybe M&M's.
Let's see.
Alabama.
Skittles.
Skittles. Oh, that was
yeah. Yeah,
Skittles is a good one.
The name is close. It's supposed to start with an S.
Second Starburst.
With an S.
Third is Hershey's mini bars.
Oh, Hershey. I don't know if I've told this story on here before, but at Easter, you used to get these Hershey's. I think it was Easter, but it wasn't it was maybe a Hershey's bunny or a big oversized Hershey bar. And we would get candy like that and we would put it in the freezer.
Oh, nothing better.
And my sister,
I still do that.
I have a sister that's diabetic. She was, like type 1 diabetic, where she takes insulin every day. And my other sister, they both got this candy, and they're about 10 years older than me. And we were in a trailer, and my sister, who's not diabetic, had already eaten all her candy. And my diabetic sister, her candy was still in the freezer. So my sister started eating it one day, and she was like, "Hey, that's my candy bar." And they got into a fight about it. And my sister cussed at her, but she goes, "Here, take your candy bar," and threw it at her and hit her in the head. And she had to get several stitches.
This is great.
Yeah, she busted her head with a frozen candy bar.
But I'm kind of with both. I see both sides of that. You're not going to eat it.
Yeah, you're not going to eat it. Don't leave it
in
here all day. This can
kill you. So let me kill you by hitting you in the head.
Yeah, let me knock some sense into you. Stay away from this.
She should at least sold it to her.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have made a deal. You do my chores.
They should have did a business deal.
Yeah.
They were a little hot-headed. I think I was in the room when it happened.
Wow. Before we go too farther on this candy, I like this. Did you have many people that gave whole pieces of candy bars? Because I don't think Fun Size was in when I was little.
I don't even think Fun Size existed. Maybe when I was a kid, we had I can remember candy apples.
Oh well, I remember that
and stuff like that.
When you're hitting your bag,
Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, homemade.
Yeah, homemade. Yeah.
No problems. I love those.
I like those too.
But do people do whole candy bars? We always had one or two houses, and that's the one you had to have a costume change.
There's pork and marshmallows.
Because you had to do a change. You had to do it. The pork and what?
Marshmallows. Pork gelatin and marshmallows.
No way. What are you ruining marshmallows for?
Yeah, I know. That's
why they catch on fire?
Yeah, maybe so. If you go into the international section of the grocery store, you can find kosher marshmallows, and they will have a fish gelatin instead of pork. So they're kosher.
That sounds terrible. Do they taste the same?
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah. It does sound terrible.
I like the little bitty marshmallows. Yeah. I like them in hot chocolate. But anyway.
My mom said that when she was a kid, they would give out fruit and stuff.
Yeah. I remember getting some fruit.
Yeah. Those are the houses you hated.
Yeah. But
should give out meat, give out little steaks.
I mean, here's
a bologna.
Yeah.
I grew up in the country, so there was no going door to door. You had to go to a house, get out of your car. My parents would drive me, get out, go, and then get in a car and drive a little bit to the next house.
Well, they would. You could never. It wasn't like you couldn't get a whole bag full of candy that way.
It was hard. Yeah.
It was probably too. I think where my dad lived, it would be like the people at the church. It would be like, they would go, all right, we're all going to be set up for Halloween. So you would do that. You would drive, and it would be
the houses, or was it like in
to
the
houses of the people from the church?
Because they do it in parking lots now.
Oh, okay.
Trunk or treat.
I hate it.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
I think it's a great idea because it makes people bring them to your church, and you do that. But the candy they give away is terrible.
Yeah.
I went there too many times, and it's like
that's why Tootsie Pops are famous.
Yeah, they buy the bag with the 5,000 pieces of candy, and they're all little bitty Tootsie Rolls and little bitty
bars. And I like a little Mr. Good bar though.
Yeah.
It's
got to give me some. If you're going to do trunk or treat, great. Be a real Christian and turn the 7 fish. Make it a nice.
Yeah.
Make something nice.
Yeah, you ain't going to save anybody with that.
Yeah. You can't. It's now and later. I can't even eat that thing.
Yeah, get some loose donuts out there. That's what I want. You get a lot of loose glazed donuts dropping in the back.
Drop them in.
That's what churches always do. Whenever you want to, some project where you got to get together with the church, they're always feeding you donuts. Powdered donuts. I'm like, let us get some protein in here. You know what I mean?
I don't really think I believe in ghosts, but there's some haunted houses I probably wouldn't. I'd be a little nervous in. The Bell Witch house.
Yeah.
The what?
The Bell Witch. You know the Bell Witch?
No.
Yeah. You don't know about the Bell Witch?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't do haunted houses or anything like that. But
I don't do them, but that's what I'm saying. The Bell Witch is one of the most famous ghosts, I guess, anywhere. And it's right here. And it's where Leanne Morgan's from, Adams, Tennessee.
Right.
Okay.
And I think you can go.
I've
There's
been
a
there.
Bell Witch Cave. Oh,
I
you've been there.
I wouldn't go in
Yeah.
and stuff.
And I read as a kid, I read all these stories about it. And look, I say I don't believe it, but it scared me.
I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries so much as a kid that I just was terrified all the time as a kid of ghosts and aliens and things like that, to where I don't even want to mess with it now. I used to love to tell the stories. Me and my friends, my dad lived out in the country. We would set out on hay bales and just tell ghost stories until we freaked each other out and had to run back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe in it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything good.
So twice, going back to the Bible, Jesus' followers thought he was a ghost.
Yeah.
When he was walking on water and then after resurrection. So I don't know. Maybe that's
his resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said that pretty fast.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's the word you don't want to. But
sorry.
I always say he rose again. I never have a problem.
When Jesus rose again. So they believed in ghosts. Nobody corrected them. Like, he didn't say like ghost. That's stupid. So
again, the spirit. There was a lot of demons back then, and it's really funny. That's one of the most miracles he ever did, and we don't talk about it today. The demon possession and all that stuff.
He pulled some demons out of a guy, threw it into a herd of pigs. A herd of pigs ran off the cliff.
Devil's ham.
Yeah.
Came from that.
Exactly.
But
he was like, this is not food. Don't eat this. I'm going to send this over the cliff, guys.
One day you're going to burn your kitchen down.
Yeah.
My senior in high school, Exorcist came out.
I was about to ask about the Exorcist.
Yeah, and I didn't have an opinion about God. I just kind of did. But after I saw that movie, my whole life changed. I mean, I didn't sleep for 2 or 3 days, and I couldn't. Now I believed in. I mean, the devil was the worst thing in the world for me. It scared me so bad.
Yeah.
And we would always go to haunted houses, and I ended up. They had to close this one down, and I was in one, and I had to walk through this aisle. And there was a jail, like there was people, all insane people, and behind bars, and they're reaching out at you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm as far away from them as you can, scared to death. And all of a sudden, there was a chair, and I just kind of sat down in it. Well, it's an electric chair.
Oh, geez.
And all of a sudden, it lights up, and all this noise. I passed out. They had to turn the lights on, carry me out the side, put me in an ambulance, and I had to sit there. And my now wife had to come get me and take me. And then,
how old were you?
I was like 17.
Yeah.
So you're like 38.
Yeah. No. But then when we first got married, we went to the last haunted house I ever went to, and she was pregnant with Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so scared. I grabbed her and pushed her in every room first. Her and Nathan, get in there.
Oh no.
And I go,
women and children first.
I go, I'm never going through. I can't do that kind of stuff anymore.
I don't know why people like
it.
it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Nope.
But people love it. And people love to just get together and watch horror movies and just scare themselves. No. I don't understand it.
Yeah. And if it's a murder mystery, I can watch it.
Yeah.
But like Sixth Sense was a little tough. That movie was scary for me. But if you throw the devil in there, I'm done.
Yeah.
But
Sixth Sense I liked.
What's that? Is it Nefarious? Is that the name of the one where the guy is the devil? Just came out last year. It's the only devil one I was forced to see it because it's supposed to be a Christian movie. And it turned out you would love it. You need to see it. Because the guy, he's on death row and he thinks he is the devil.
Okay.
And he tells this...
you're not going to give it away.
No, but this guy comes in and he's a psychologist and he has to declare if he's insane or not.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing. It's amazing because
you know
get
what?
to hear.
I've seen clips from that on the internet, I think.
They made me go see this. And
I would check it out.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
Because you learn a lot about the devil.
I like the clips that I saw. They're sitting in a room just kind of across from each other like this, interrogation room.
Yeah, it's all. The whole movie's almost that.
Okay.
It is great. I thought it was very good. And that's the only last devil movie I would ever see. But
what's the one? Is it Primal Fear with Richard Gere and Edward Norton?
Yeah.
I just saw it recently. It's a pretty old movie. It's really great.
Is that when he's a priest?
No, I think he's a like a insane person. Edward Norton. You've seen it?
Yeah, it's been so long I can't remember.
Oh, he's up at the end. He was lying the other way, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic.
It's such a good movie. Yeah, it's amazing.
I don't remember it.
Oh, it is. At the end, you go,
Yeah.
oh, you were so wrong.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Huh. Now, I want to mention, because I think we have at least one that listens, there are witches like Wiccans who call themselves witches and practicing, but their whole motto is do no harm. So just want to throw that out there, that there are witches, and their brew, according to what I read, is they might make a home remedy, herbal remedy for the flu.
Yeah.
So
my wife just went to, there was a pharmacist on TV, on the radio here, that makes a home brew. I can't even think that supposed to bring back your taste and smell. And
somebody told me that's a zinc deficiency.
Yeah, well, he gave her
a
jar of motor oil, so it looks like motor oil, and it's and she has to take it. She's on her 8th day with it, and she still can't taste or smell. But he made this himself, and he's doing it. I forgot. I have to look up the name of it, but so far it hadn't really worked. But the best part is watching her drink it every night.
Yeah.
You have to take it twice a day. She can't taste it, but it kills her.
Well, I hope she gets her taste.
But it's a home remedy, so it's probably I don't know about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just want to throw that. All right, that's probably a good place to.
Well, this is great. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You want to tell us where you're at this week?
Yeah. Well, this week I'm off, and you know what? There was speculation. I saw someone on the Facebook group who was like, we've looked at everybody's calendar.
I saw that.
And they're all off this week. They must be all going to appear on SNL. I can't speak for the other two people, but I'm always, I try to take one weekend off a month to spend with my family. I got 2 small children.
That's so smart. I'm so glad you are.
Yeah, I just, I like my family. I want to be around them. So I'm doing that. But next week, after that, I have a run of show. Well, I'll be in Chicago doing a theater show in Chicago on Thursday, November 2nd, I believe. And then
excuse me,
Saturday, November 4th, I'm in Oklahoma City at Bricktown doing comedy. 2 shows there. So check those out. They're going to be hot shows. After that, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Improv. And then I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, doing a theater show, and Bowling Green, Kentucky, doing a theater show. So check those out. Skypack, yeah.
Great place.
Well, Aaron is going to be at the Albany Funny Bone, November 3rd and 4th.
Okay.
So go check him out there. I will be at Zany's, November 8th.
Wow.
Here in Nashville one night, Zany's. November 10th and 11th at Comedy Off Broadway in Lexington, Kentucky. My first time to headline there. November 18th, I'll be at the Studio Theater in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
So, folks in Arkansas, come see me, please.
All right. This morning I was in Colin Crosby's doctor's office, and he's trying to fix a pinched nerve in my neck, and he's the one that fixed my back.
Yeah.
That I talked to. Great guy, great office and stuff.
Good.
But next week, my next show, Saturday night, I will not go to New York. Me and my wife, since we are invading Nathan's home, we will be staying watching Harper.
Okay.
And keeping her up late to watch it. So I'm excited. I think it might make Nathan nervous. I'd be nervous to be in there with him.
Yeah.
And so we decided not to go and just let them to go.
Yeah. I mean, my parents are performers, but I don't really want them around on the big moments. You know what I mean? It's too much pressure.
You don't want to have to see them if they are. Whenever we went to a lot of Nathan's shows when they were tough with the cousin who he's with. But he just said, as long as I don't see you. Yeah. He didn't mind. And a lot of times he liked to think that we were there, even if we weren't.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that. But, he doesn't want us to be sitting in the front row.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't do that.
I just watched one of his old specials, and they show you and Derek.
Yeah, that was his. That's right.
The one in New York for his Comedy Central special.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that was an Easter egg, they called it. I had no idea, but that's what it was. But my next show with Nate is actually going to be in Peoria and Chicago on the 5th at the Janie's Comedy Club.
Oh, yeah.
We need to sell some tickets for that. It's an afternoon show. I'll be doing Nathan's show that night, but we're going to, each one of the guys, the openers, we're going to do, the other 2 guys are going to be doing a night show on the 3rd and 4th, and I will be on the 5th in the afternoon because I like to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And then I'll be in Vegas with Nate on the 10th and 11th with Nick.
Awesome.
So, but we need some people to come out and see me in
Zanies,
Zanies
Chicago
on the 5th.
on November 5th. Go do that.
And it's the whole show, so it won't be just one track.
And Nate will be back next week. He'll tell us all about Saturday Night Live. Like I said, if you've got questions or comments about SNL, email us at nateland@natebargatze.com, and we'll read some of them next week on the show.
All right.
All right. I think that's it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks to our
Thanks
sponsors,
for doing it.
HelloFresh and Indeed. And
We're having a good time.
yeah, let's
I gotta
go, folks.
pee. This has been too long.
All right. That is a great idea.
Nateland is produced by Nateland Productions and by me, Nate Bargatze, and my wife Laura on the Audio Boom platform. Recording and editing for the show is done by Genovations Media. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to catch us next week on the Nateland Podcast.